I'm Pastor Jacob, and it is now been a full month of me being the pastor of Blue Mound United Methodist Church on the north side of Denton, Texas. And man, I don't even know where to start. This month has been crazy busy. It's been crazy exciting and lots of new things. And I just finally this past week got to meet with the trustees for the first time, and the SPRC again. We've met a couple of times, and we got some other meetings scheduled with other committees, and a little progress being made here and there on various things, and just lots of excitement as we are molding and shaping the church going forward, and our worship service together to be the best we can possibly make it. That is, until we launch additional worship services, in which case we'll make those the best we can as well. But one of the things that I jokingly said to people as I was preparing to begin the appointment here at Blue Mound was that for the last 3-4 years, the church has averaged 45 people for Sunday morning worship attendance. And so the first goal then would be to average 50, and making the joke that my family does most of that because, because I got 3 kids and my wife, and my mom comes to church quite often with us as well because she helps out on Sundays. And so just kind of jokingly saying that as a beginning benchmark, but at the same time a very realistic goal. A good rate of growth, a very good rate of growth, would be 10%. Well, 10% of 45 is about 4.5, and so if you could go in a year from 45 to 50, hey, that's a 10% growth. That's great. And you know, there's always some excitement with a new pastor, but I'm excited to share that in our first month of being here, the month of July, all the Sunday mornings are counted now. Our average worship attendance has gone to 60 for the month. So for the year, we're up to about 48, almost 49, 48 point something. But if we can keep it up, if we can have a second month in a row where we average 60, then our yearly average will be to 50 already, and we might have to set new goals. Who knows? All I know is I'm having a lot of fun being the pastor. I cannot believe and I cannot express what a privilege it is to walk into a room and be the level of relationship is different than I can put into words. It's different than I've experienced before. And of course that relationship that I have with the congregation is still growing. But even from the first moment, the first bit of interaction that I have with people, it's a humbling experience to be regarded as a pastor, and it's not a burden that I take lightly. People share things that are very close to their hearts, and share their life stories with me, and I am honored to get to hear those stories and see how God is already at work in these people's lives, and how we together can continue the work that God is doing, not only in their lives, but in the lives of more and more people in the North Denton area. And so it's really exciting, and I'm just looking back over the first month and thinking, wow, there's only 11 more of these, and then it's called a year. And it just doesn't seem like time is flying. It doesn't seem like a year is a very long amount of time at all. And so, who knows? My hope is that I'll continue to be appointed here year after year after year. We as Methodists, we get appointed 1 year at a time, and so if things are going well, we tend to stay in our ministry location. If things are going well, if I'm enjoying serving here, and if the congregation is enjoying my service, then there's better odds of being able to continue in the same place. But I'm very excited about that, and I'm hopeful to spend quite a long time here. As I've mentioned in previous weeks, we're in the process of moving, and so that there was quite a bit of that stuff that was taking up time this past week. My wife and I also made it out to Albany, Texas, for our her side of the family reunion. And so that was a lot of fun, seeing old faces. But on the church front, like I said, just some meetings and trying to get things squared away and ready as we try and move forward. My sermon this past Sunday was on Romans chapter 8, 26 through 39. That's the passage of nothing can separate us from the love of God. It's one of my favorite passages to talk about, because we often need the reminder that it's not about the things that we do or the ways that we fall short. God loves us, and that God's love is beyond any of our human conditions. And so that's a good reminder, even for me, most of the time. So I enjoyed that sermon. That link will be up soon, as well as this coming week. I'm talking about another one of my favorite passages. It just happens to be a lectionary passage again, and the sermon title is Wrestling with God, and the passage is Jacob as he struggles with the angel of the Lord, or the man, or however you want to read it. Jacob struggling on the riverbank with this unknown figure, and so it's one of my favorites. I don't really. If you want to hear more, just show up on Sunday and you'll get the whole thing, or you can check in on the recording afterwards. But life is good here in Blue Mound, and or at Blue Mound in Denton. I'm playing with the using of Denton Blue Mound in all of my communication about it, because sometimes when I'm talking to people in the community, I say Blue Mound and they think of a town that's north of Fort Worth, but it's different. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. Something that I wanted to mention is that this past week I got to visit the Cumberland Children's Home here in Denton, and get to hear and learn about a lot of the work that they do for foster children here in the area, and what their goal is on offering family services and things like that. And I just was really encouraged by that meeting and the work that they do, and I hope that we can find ways for our church to continue to support and uphold that ministry, because it does some very good work here, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that a bit of a partnership already exists between our church and that organization, and I look forward to being more involved, even if that's as a mentor to a young person who doesn't have an adult role model, perhaps. I don't know. I'm excited about all the ways that God has been revealing Himself to me, and I hope to share some more with you next week. That's all.